Today we will be talking about factoring trinomials that are in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Something in this form might look like this: 5x squared minus 13x minus 6. Now when I was in grade school, the way they showed me was just to pretty much do guess and check. The way I'm going to show you takes out all the guesswork. And it's called the AC factoring method, and it's something I've learned ever since I started math tutoring. So basically, the first thing we want to do is find factors of A times C that add up to B. And in this case, A is 5, B is negative 13, and C is negative 6. So like I said, let's find factors of A times C which add up to B. So factors of A times C. So 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Okay, obviously factors of negative 30, we could do the first one, 5 times 6. Let's just not worry about the negatives yet. What else? 15 times 2. 3 times 10. How about 30 times 1? Okay, so we need to pick a pair of these factors that add up to negative 13. And keep in mind, one of these factors needs to be negative, the other one needs to be positive, because a negative times a positive equals a negative. And we want to get negative 13, so how about we do, how about this? Negative 15 plus 2. So we're going to pick these ones right here. Okay, so we did the first part, factors of A times C that add up to B. Now with those factors, we're going to replace that middle term, that negative 13x. We're going to replace it with a negative 15x plus 2x. So here we go. 5x squared, so we'll just write the first one normal, but the middle one's the one that changes, minus 15x plus 2x minus 6. So all we did was change that middle thing. Then we do something called factoring by grouping, which is basically just doing this. Put it in two groups, and then we factor each group. So we pull out common factors. So let's pull out common factors from this first group right here. 5x squared minus 15x. Well, we could pull out a 5x, and that leaves behind an x minus 3. How about the second set? We could pull out a positive 2. Oops, positive 2 I said. And that leaves an x, sorry, my thing just messed up, x minus 3. That was really weird. Okay, then we just rewrite the first repeated parentheses term, so x minus 3, and then we just write what's outside of the parentheses, 5x plus 2. So 5x plus 2. Okay, so why was that valid? Why could I go from here to here? Because this is the final answer. But all we did was pulling out common factors, just kind of on the bigger scale. Just imagine this whole thing was a set of parentheses, and we wanted to pull out common factors. We had, and the common factor here was x minus 3 was in both terms, so we just pulled that out of the parentheses, and what was left behind was 5x plus 2. So that's the answer for that. We just factored 5x minus 13x, 5x squared minus 13x minus 6. I want to show one more example, and then I want to sum everything up into one simple recipe for you to write down on your equation sheet. So here we go. So here's the next example. 3x squared minus 10x plus 8. Okay, factors of A times C, 24. Factors of 24, 8 times 3, 12 times 2, 6 times 4, 24 times 1. We could go on forever, but let's see if we could find two of these factors that add up to negative 10. And keep in mind, since this is a positive 24 right here, either both factors can be positive or both can be negative. So to get negative 10, we want to do negative 6 and negative 4. So those add together to make that, negative 10 and times together to equal 24. Okay, so replace the middle term. 3x squared minus 6x minus 4x, plus 8. Factor by grouping. Boom, boom. Okay, I want you to notice something here. We want to keep that negative in front of the 4x inside the parentheses, because if it's outside of the parentheses, it would make everything negative inside, and that's not what we want. And to make this mathematically valid, I'll just sneak a little plus in the middle there. Okay, so pull out common factors. Well, in this case, we could pull out, how about a 3x? Okay, and in this second set of parentheses, I want to show you what's a common error here. Say we wanted to pull out just a positive 4, and that leaves behind a negative x plus 2. Okay, that's totally valid. The only problem here is our parentheses aren't the same, so we can't do the whole factoring by grouping thing. So let me just rewrite this. So pull out a negative 4, and that leaves behind an x minus 2. Because this only works if this set of parentheses looks like this set of parentheses. Then we could rewrite it with the repeated parentheses, and then what's outside of it? 3x minus 4. And that's it. We just factored something. It should be really hard, but this was a kind of cool method that I learned, changed my life, I guess. Okay. Now, let's just put this all together in a simple recipe. So here's our recipe. Step 1, find factors of a times c that add or subtract to make b. B. Okay, step 2. We want to replace the middle term. So let's just say replace the bx with, and we're going to use those factors used in step 1, the first step. So I'll just say factor 1, whatever that was, times x plus or minus factor 2 x. So replace the middle term, and final step, factor by grouping. And that's it. Simple recipe. Write this down on your equation sheet to solving tricky trinomials. And this works for pretty much any trinomial that's factorable. That's ax squared plus bx plus c. So here's your recipe, and you could find more recipes like this on mathcookbooks.com.